Today I thought I'd try something a little different. Rather than doing like a live showcase where I show my bug and then I go through my like live coding process, I just thought that I'd focus on the tasks at hand, um, leave less room for like commentary and everything like that, and just get straight to coding, because at the end of the day, that's what I'm trying to do. And and then I'm trying to showcase everything later that I've done. So I don't know. I'm just gonna try this out, but I am commentating over an edited recording right now. So I just edited all my parts, and then now I'm kind of speaking through everything. So at this point, I'm just showing you guys my bugs. Right now, I have a little error where I want to show some messages when I create, edit, and delete my objects. And right now, I'm only getting back a response that says saved whenever I edit a message. And that message, as you can see right now, is I put it in a state. So every time my object is saved, I set my state using use state and set state to that message, and that message should be displayed, indicating that whether it was deleted, and then it'll say task deleted. If it's edited, saying task is edited, or if I create a new one, it'll say task created or something like that. So that's the overview of the code. And I'm also showing that toggle function is what I use to trigger a refresh for my main component, which is basically using an Axios to re-render and get back like all the edited stuff from the API rather than my states. Yeah, right there. And I'm using the use effect to trigger that, and that'll be with the toggle. So this is basically a fast edit of me going through, just inspecting my code, I guess. I know what works and what doesn't right now. So as you can see, any changes that I make, I'm getting back the message saved, which is usually triggered once I do an edit. See, and one thing that I also am running into is whenever I create my object, the message shows, but my component re-renders right after, and so my message will be saved, and then it'll be nothing again because it refreshes the state right after. So two different bugs. And so right now I'm just trying to do one at a time. As you can see, I'm just kind of thinking, what could I be doing differently? And I guess how I do it in my head is I keep hitting the errors just to kind of internalize it and saying like, this, what I'm doing right now, which I've been constantly doing and triggering errors, is not going to work. So I'll think of it and do a couple of things. I'll Stack Overflow it, of course, as you just saw. But I really found out that rather than Stack Overflowing it, which I obviously do a lot, I just kind of play around with my code now more than usual. Just mess around with it, try different things, and I think that's like the best way for me to learn. Look over my stuff, see how it can be broken as it is, and see how I can modify, make it better. So right now what I'm going to try to do is do a separate promise, which is the then dot parentheses. Maybe I can trigger the message, and then trigger the toggle so that my refresh does kind of like a separate thing. But anyways, so I just found the bug right here. As you can see, I'm checking the ternary operator, and it looks like I'm actually returning a hard-coded message rather than a dynamic one, which returns the message itself. So just by putting that message now, I get back the proper message rather than the static saved every single time. So as you just saw right there, I just deleted an item, and it properly displays that message. So that's bug fix 1. So now onto the other one, which is as you just saw, when I create the task, it displays a message, but the state refreshes immediately after. And so I try different things. First, I put the toggle away, because when I toggle, that's kind of my manual way of refreshing states. So I comment that out, and it's still making the same error. So I know that the error isn't dependent on the toggle. So I just try to think in this moment right now. I'm thinking that because it's a separate component and not like a mapping thing that I created with a function that returns like individual URLs and descriptions. So right now I'm just trying to see which part is making the message and the component refresh. So I'm trying to isolate things out. Is it the component declaration itself? Is it the setup? And then once again, the power of documentation. That's the one thing I always love relying on, because it's reliable. And then I put the argument or parameter or whatever it's called, and then I prevent the default action of a submit, because that's what I did for one other thing. I believe it was the edit. Let me see. Yeah, it's the edit. When I used the onKeyPress, I needed to make a prevent default function so that whenever I press a value, it like, I don't know, but that's where I got it from. So preventing the default changed it. I think the prevent default prevented the refreshing which I want to refresh manually with like my own conditions. Anyway, now that I have everything set up, let me see. I'm just making sure that because I prevented the default, the value that I input is not refreshing itself afterwards. So I just manually set that back to a blank or null. Yeah, so right here I just set my value to blank after I submit it, along with setting my message. And so after I submit a task, it should be blank now. Yep. And so yeah, everything is now fixed. One thing that I just need to clean up is I don't want anyone to just click enter and have nothing come up, because you know, you would want to just put something rather than nothing. So I put a condition check to make sure that people are writing something in as their task. And so I put that in my my handler function. And yeah, right here I'm just checking that it works, which it does. Perfect, perfect. And then I want to also make sure that people can't edit their tasks as blank, which right now they're able to. So I go to the edit task and they pretty much do the same thing. And as you can see, the KeyPress handler takes an event argument. And so that's kind of where I got the idea for my my create, as well as just looking up the documentation, of course. I think that the documentation is what actually made me realize that that's what I can use to solve my bug. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this debug session. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Happy holidays.